So the streaming has started. I can see it on YouTube and other.
Yes. Hi, good evening, folks. We'll be starting the learner spotlight session right on time. Meanwhile, we are just getting settled in, and meanwhile, let's just introduce ourselves to the folks here. So I'll just introduce myself on the chat here. So I'm Rasha Khan, and I'm joining all the way from Bangalore, India, and I'm thrilled to be your host today. And drop us a hello on chat here, and let us know where are you tuning in from. So let the conversations begin. And once again, welcome to the session. We'll be starting right on time in a few minutes. I can see introductions coming in from folks who have joined us. I can see folks have joined from Bangalore, Pune, Kanpur. I can see Robin has joined from Bangalore. I can see Praveen from Pune here. I can see someone has joined from Michigan as well. Diksha. Good morning, good morning at your end. I can see John has joined from Tamil Nadu. I can see Amit here is here from Kanpur. So keep the introductions coming in. We'll be starting the session just in a few minutes. Awesome. I can see a lot of introductions coming in on chat, and folks are still joining in. Meanwhile, let's go to the ground rules quickly. So we have quick three easy ground rules here. You need to put down your questions in the Q&A box if you have any questions for our speaker here, and you can just find it right beside the chat box. And the session is being recorded in case you want to go through the recording of the session again. You can expect a follow-up email with the recording link. And this program is powered by Simplilearn, world's #1 online bootcamp. We basically are very proud that we have been in the digital space for almost 13 years, and we have advanced almost 5 lakh plus careers in 150 plus countries, and we have 40 plus global accreditations and 800 plus qualified trainers, and we are very proud for that. We have categories of AI, machine learning, data science, business analytics, cybersecurity, cloud computing, DevOps, and many more like that. So before we start, let's get to know each other a little better and understand basically what kind of experience are you joining us from. So there's a quick poll on your screen, which you can see. So we would love to know how many years of experience do you currently have? So there are 5 quick options here. The first one, currently studying, fresher. Second one, 0 to 2 years of experience. Third one, 3 to 7 years of experience. Fourth one, 8 to 12 years of experience. The last one, more than 12 years of experience. So please do let us know how many years of experience do you currently have before we start the session. Let's get to know folks who are joining us, come from different set of experiences usually. And before we start the session, we would love to know a little about you. So as I was speaking, I can see the holes moving in. So that's great. We have got a really active audience here. And I can see the introductions coming in on chat here. So that's great. Keep that coming in. And we already have our speakers here with us, Mr. Kashyap Dalal and Prasann. And we'll be starting the session in a few minutes after this experience poll. I'll just give 10 seconds more for the poll here. Okay, I can see most of the folks have already shared the responses for the poll here, so that's great. For a few of the folks who are still putting down their experience on the quick poll you see on your screen here, so how many years of experience do you currently have? Please do let us know on the poll here before we start the session. And once again, welcome everyone to the Learner Spotlight webinar. Awesome. I can see most of the folks have already shared the responses on the poll here. So let me just quickly end the poll in 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and also share the results with you. So we can see that 36% of the folks who have joined us are currently studying and freshers. And we can see 16% of the folks have 0 to 3 years of experience. 20% of the folks have 3 to 7 years of experience. And 11% of the folks have 8 to 12 years of experience, and 16% of the folks have more than 12 years of experience. So we have gotten folks from different experiences here. So that's good to know. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Moving on. I would like to invite Kashyap Dalal, and introduce them to you folks. With a rich entrepreneurial background spanning over 17 years, he's the co-founder and chief operating officer at Simplilearn. Kashyap is a graduate of IIT Bombay and IIM Lucknow and has successfully scaled businesses, including his first venture, Inkfruit.com. Kashyap started his career in Unilever prior to venturing into the world of startups. But Kashyap is more than just a successful entrepreneur. Beyond his successful professional achievements, Kashyap is a certified diver, an avid reader of fiction, and a devoted Star Trek enthusiast. So please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mr. Kashyap Dalal.
Thanks, Risha. Hi, everyone. It's great to host you today. And thanks all of you for joining in. Today, I have the pleasure to chat with Prasann. Prasann, thanks for joining us. Prasann, let me start with the introduction. So Prasann is a mechanical engineer by education. He's a data analyst by profession. He started his journey with BPCL as an engineer and now is a data visualization coach and the founder of Tableau Buddy. Prasann is he's had an amazing journey where he's transformed his career from starting with a different job off campus, and then after that really having a passion for the field of data and AI. And then he's a person who's gone through a couple of programs at Simplilearn in the field of data and AI. So in his journey, he holds international titles from Tableau, such as Tableau Visionary and Tableau Ambassador. And he's a proud Simplilearner and has over 8 years of experience where in the past he's been associated with brands like American Express, Bharat Petroleum, Mahindra and Mahindra, and currently is on his entrepreneurial journey. So Prasann, really excited to have you here, and thanks for joining in and sharing your story with so many others who are perhaps at a point where you once were, where you were trying to figure out that, how would you course your journey. So welcome to this call, and thanks for taking time out.
Thank you so much, Kashyap. Thank you so much for having me here.
So let's get it rolling. I think to the audience, we'll chat over the next 30-40 minutes. We'll try to ask Prasann a few questions and understand his journey and different things that helped him along the way. If you have any questions, please keep writing in. I think we'll keep looking at it. If a question is relevant to what we are talking about, we'll take it along with the flow. Otherwise, we'll address all questions at the end. So please do share your questions on the chat window. I think one other aspect for the audience. So at the start, when Rasha did the poll, we got a good idea that we've got people across. Some are students; they are in college trying to figure out how to start their career. There are some with fair bit of experience, 8-12 years of experience. So I think what we'll try to do in the discussion with Prasann, and Prasann would love to, you could also keep it in mind while you are sharing your experiences, that we've got people across your entire journey, that you started at some point, now you've got 7-8 years of experience and, gone through a lot of different experiences along the way. I think how do we make it helpful for the entire audience for this call today, so that each person can take away something and benefit from the call. So I think we'll try to cover as much as we can. So maybe to get started, Prasann, I think I'll start with one question just to kick it off, that you were a mechanical engineer and you had started your career with BPCL, and now you are a data analyst by profession. So how did this happen? I mean, why did you choose to upskill yourself? Could you just think back on the starting point, that what were the thoughts in your mind, and how did you go about it?
Sure. So while I was working as a mechanical engineer with BPCL, I felt that most of the decisions that we used to take was either based on intuition or maybe from previous experiences, or also I remember that we used to collect data and then we used to enhance the performance as well. That's how we used to do the optimization. Now, data as a word wasn't there at that time. But also I saw that this data science domain is booming. It was just starting at that point of time. And while I searched for this, I really felt that if I can bring this all together in my tool belt, it can really help me grow, because at the end, we were taking the decisions through data itself. So that's why I really decided to go ahead for this data science domain and start upskilling myself.
Got it. No, that's amazing. And I think that first step, a lot of times for most people, is the most difficult one, because there's always so much inertia that you have a job, you have other stuff going on the family side. And actually, when you thought about this, taking the first step, giving it time, investing behind it, I think that really a lot of times makes the difference for everybody. Could you tell us, Prasann, how did you choose Simplilearn? I'm sure that when you thought of picking up skills in data, there would have been a lot of different ideas and options. So would love to hear, what drove your decision.
So I think there were actually two reasons that made me go for Simplilearn. One was it was actually in my budget, so it was budget friendly for me. And then it had a real good, well-structured course, because I was actually learning through various platforms like YouTube, blogs. But at the end, I wasn't getting the picture. What is actually there in the data science? Like, there are lots of things, and I was literally confused. And then when I went through multiple platforms, I saw that this is the platform where it is also not digging me too deep on my pocket and also giving me a well-structured course. And I think altogether that decision has been worth. And I think in a few months, once I took this course, I was able to see the whole data science domain picture in full. I was able to correlate how I can actually use these skills to even my, if I go back to BPCL, I was pretty sure that how I can actually leverage these skills. So altogether, it really helped me make a mark in that industry, and I could see that now I shouldn't have to just restrict to being a mechanical engineer.
No, that's great to know, and feel very, very proud of being able to play a small part in your journey. I think that's what keeps us going at Simplilearn, that how can we help people who are trying to make that jump and make it a little easier for them by offering something that's easy to understand, gets you up to speed. And so how did you so what was the experience like? I think initially the structured course and the program being affordable were things that helped you make the choice. But post the learning journey, could you also share a little bit about what were your key takeaways? What are the top 3-4 things that you really enjoyed in this program? Because obviously you've done multiple programs with us and had a great journey, right? So it would be great to hear some of those things.
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is live sessions, as well as the instructors, because most of my instructors, they were coming from not just they were instructors, but they were actually coming from some companies. Even one was having its own startup, and he was actually teaching us AI. So it was really interesting to see that what the real use cases can be and how we have to tackle that. And also altogether the comprehensive curriculum. Like one thing was live classes, but also we had this self-paced videos as well. So let's say if I don't want to go ahead and I can't do the live classes, I can also start on my own. And also coming to the live classes part, if I have to say, I cannot just go for one live class. There were actually parallel live classes running. So let's say if I can do a live class this week in the morning, I can even go for other live classes at night. So we had that flexibility. And I think altogether, this whole curriculum, if I go back when I started and if I see now, so it really helped me build that initial foundation. And that was actually necessary to let me know what all things are there. And now, after I completed this, I was actually at the stage where I can now learn and upgrade myself more, because resources are out there. There is immense knowledge, but where to target and where to see, I was able to do that after doing this course.
So, Prasann, that is so good to hear. I think when we were catching up offline also, this was something that I was sharing with you and for the larger group, that this was one of the core reasons why Simplilearn started. That basically, as a leadership team at Simplilearn, we had this belief that basically in the world of data and tech, in the amount of impact that technology is having on all parts, not just data and AI, but also whether it's cloud, cyber, digital marketing, business, all around. People who want to upskill, their biggest challenge is the 0 to 1. That basically when you want to get into a new domain, understand a new skill set, once you are into the skill set, then you can learn on your own, because you know enough. In fact, a lot of times we use this word that once you have created that foundation, then you know what you don't know as well, right? And then you know how to find it out, that you can basically search online, go to so many resources and stuff like that. But at the same time, that first 0 to 1 is where most people fail, where they will go to a lot of videos. YouTube has tons of content on everything under the world, right? And we ourselves put up so much of our content on YouTube. It's all free for people to go and learn from. But the challenge is more this, that from all of that free content and videos that are out there, people typically hit some block, that somewhere you don't understand some concept or you're not clear on something. And if you don't have somebody to help you immediately to clarify that and kind of move forward, then you get stuck. And I think that's what our entire vision has been, that basically how do we make programs that get you from 0 to 1, and once you've created that foundation, then you should be able to learn on your own, right? And it was so good to hear from you when we were catching up, that you had that journey, that at the end of the program you were able to reach a level where now you are comfortable to learn on your own, and you've done so many things since then by picking up skills on your own and just going to a different level. So really good to hear that, Prasann. I think I also wanted to share for the audience that this point that you mentioned about flexibility in classes, that you do one today, you do one tomorrow evening. So you were able to complete a program that normally takes 6 to 9 months in 2.5 months. How did that happen? Because normally that's a big challenge. Anybody who's working and doing these programs together it takes time, right? You are struggling, you're also doing other things together. But it was amazing to see that your journey was 2.5 months and you were able to complete a much longer program in a shorter period of time. So what worked for you?
Well, I think I was going crazy a bit as well to learn all these things. That was the intent. Like I wanted to learn all these things, but altogether, I think I was able to manage all of this because of my family as well. They were really helping me that time, and I was actually able to do multiple courses simultaneously. Like since I was working, I was actually doing, if I remember, Python and R on weekdays at night, and I was doing big data and Tableau on weekends in the morning. So I actually took these sessions. I selected the live sessions in that order so that I can complete 4 subjects at once. So I think that was the thing I did so that I could actually complete it in time.
No, that's very commendable, and I think was really good to see. It almost seems like you got into your engineering journey mode. That typically when you have 5 courses running in parallel and kind of pulling night outs to get them done. So really good to hear about that. So, Prasann, I'm just thinking that basically before we move forward, let me just check. So I'm seeing quite a few questions that have come in. Maybe I'll take a couple of questions from the audience and then we can continue chatting about some of the other areas. So I'm seeing a question from Digambar Chandra that basically, currently he's working as a PHP developer and wants to switch to the field of data science and data analysis. And what would be the right way to initiate the journey? Any Prasann, any thoughts that you'd like to share? That basically somebody who's a PHP developer.
Sure. If you're already a PHP developer, you know more coding than I do. So you already have that under control. And I think data science or being a data analyst or a data scientist, it's all about relating the whole data perspective to the program. There's a programming part as well. So I think for you, if you have to jump, it might get hard to learn on your own. That is also possible. I won't say that is not possible, but just take a course. Like that is what I always suggest anyone. Take any course, take a course and just put your head down for 3-4 months or 5 months and don't ask anything or don't let anyone go away from your trajectory. Like people will ask you, okay, why are you doing this? Is it worth taking it? Please don't listen to those things. Like there are so many noise. Just cancel everything, cancel every noise out there and just learn. Just sit down there for 5 months. That I'll suggest.
I think, Prasann, that's a great point. I mean, this is something that we've seen many times because that there are thousands of people who enroll in courses every month, and everybody has a different journey. I think many times one of the things that we've seen is that at the end of a period, let's say when you look back after 3-4 years, what a lot of learners tell us is more this, that a lot of times before enrolling for the course, there is so much of doubt and noise in their minds that basically, should I do this course or that course or this course? Finally, the learners who talk to us after many years is that the critical thing was to take a course. It was not about, because so in hindsight, nothing is perfect, but it's more about making a start. That you basically pick up a course, you do it. So let's say whether you do data analyst or data science, or you do an AI course or a data engineering course, obviously you understand and pick the best bet. But you start somewhere. That you basically start somewhere and you move forward, and then that gives you more visibility and you can change course, saying that, okay, I understood this, now maybe I want to go in a slightly different domain. Which incidentally, Prasann, I think that's one of the things that's very interesting about your journey, that you took the entire track almost, that you took data science as well as AI, and then after that you have picked out a niche for yourself. Could you also share a little bit about that? I think this is just a question that's coming to mind related to this, that basically, how did that help you, that you just took a larger program and then after that it helped you figure out what you wanted to do?
So I think whatever decision I took, it was something out of gut as well, something out of intuition. But if I now see, it's something that is actually connected. Everything is connected, whatever I did. So after I took this whole course, I had a great amount of knowledge in lots of subjects. And actually, I was thrilled but nervous as well, because if I started looking at the roles, they were actually specific. So if I want to be a data scientist, I need to have good Python skills, R skills, and also maybe a bit of experience. And let's say I want to be a data analyst, I want to know at least Excel, SQL, Tableau, all these different categorizations I saw there in the market. So while I was doing this analysis on my own, I was also figuring out what works for me best, because I used to do programming. I was in love, but I think right now, when I was doing this course, I actually figured out that I don't love programming that much. I don't want to code that much intensively. So that was the point I decided that I shouldn't dive into the AI piece or to the AI phase, even though I know about it. So that's where I actually decided that I should take on to the data visualization route, because it was something that was really exciting me. It had that design part, the data part, as well as the analysis. And that's where I actually came to a decision that if I have to niche down, because I can be a generalist, but I thought that if I like something, I will be investing more of my time there. So that's how it all came together. And I started investing almost like 90% of my time to data visualization. And I think it has been one of the best decisions.
No, that's great to hear. And I think as towards the end, we'll again come back to this. I'm also seeing a lot of questions around this theme, where basically people are asking about different walks of life. That I'm a programmer, I'm a QA, I'm a I've done a degree in data, and then how should I shape my career? So maybe I think one theme that I'm clearly getting is that towards the end, maybe we'll spend around 10 minutes just on this. That there are 3-4 different kinds of personas who are trying to build a career in data, and for each person what would be the right kind of starting point. So I think we'll hold on to a lot of those questions, and we'll come back to that. But Prasann, I wanted to move to one other aspect, that basically, so how did the course impact your career trajectory? That basically, so you shared about this journey, that you were doing your job as a mechanical engineer, and then wanted to get into the field of data. You took a program, understood a lot of the skills. After that, how did it impact? What happened? Could you walk through about the transition and the challenges, and how you were able to get some of the breaks that took your
Sure.
career in a different direction?
Sure. So I think if I start from the point where I was learning, and then I left BPCL, and then I was rigorously searching for a job in the data science domain. So I was first I was looking for any roles. So that was actually not working out. And also I niched down myself. So now I know that I knew actually that I have to focus on some specific roles, and I need skills such as Tableau, Excel, SQL. These are the skills that are really important to me. So I was working on them. I was polishing all of these skills after completing the course as well. And I was actually practicing as many projects, because I had done some projects in my course, but that is not it. That shouldn't be the end. If somebody is saying that I have completed all the projects and it's not reaping me benefits, then I think it's being naive right now in this time or the stage that we are in. So I actually pushed myself further so that I can have a really good portfolio of projects. And I think while I was doing this, in a few months, I actually landed my first job offer as a Tableau developer at a startup based in Bangalore. And I think that was a really happy moment. And if all of us remember that moment from Three Idiots, like when the CEO, he asked me that how much would you take. So that was actually one of the thrilling moments. I still remember that. And after that, well, I landed my job, but I didn't stop at my personal end. So I was also doing the projects. Again, like apart from the work, I was taking out some time working on my portfolio. And I think within 5 months, after landing that first job offer, I had a job offer from American Express as an analyst. And I think from there, I have been at MX for around 2.5 years, and I left recently. So in 2.5 years, I got somewhere around 2 promotions, 3 raises. Altogether, it was a really good journey. And I think one of the crucial habits was trying to upskill myself and learning continuously. So that habit that eventually started with the program that has helped me overall. And I think I'll be learning, like I always learn. I try and go on buy courses, even if I am good with my niche.
No, that's amazing to hear, Prasann. I think especially even the overall theme that you're talking about, that basically keep skilling yourself, kind of resonates with Three Idiots. That it's more about make sure that you are skilled, the rest will follow, right? So I think that seems to be the philosophy that's worked for you. But great feedback for everybody who's on the call, right? That basically the portfolio that you build, that makes a big difference to getting the break, getting the transition. It's about projects, it's about having done enough so that you are basically able to talk about it, you're able to showcase it, and you have that inner confidence that you've executed real stuff. It's not just about learning theory. And I think large part of it happens in the structured programs that Simplilearn has, where you've got labs and projects and a lot of it. But I think as Prasann mentioned, there's also beyond that, that basically you do 5 programs or 5 projects in the program, but then there's so much more out there, and you could do more and get more confidence and get ready for the dream job that you have. So Prasann, thanks for sharing that. Every learning journey also has its challenges, right? That basically not everything goes as per plan. Could you also touch on that? That basically, while obviously overall it's worked out for you, but what were the places where you were feeling like you'll give up, or where you were stuck somewhere, or what were the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them? What helped?
So I think through this overall learning journey, I think at the start while doing the course, since I was doing at a rapid pace, time management was typically tough because I had to complete the live sessions, I had to do the assignments, and then we had this major capstone project as well. So I think that was one of the crucial challenge that I had at the start. And I think, but altogether, I didn't face that much of a big block because most of the queries, even let's say if I'm in today's class and I'm not able to ask those questions, so I have my next live session, I was always prepared. And the instructors, like, I'll really commend on that because every question I asked, it was actually answered. And even in the forums, if I had any questions related to the projects, even after the live sessions were ended, those were actually resolved. So that really helped me overcoming the challenges while I was doing this program.
Got it. That's great to know. And could you share maybe a few specific things that the instructors were able to help you with, so that you were able to move forward fast and achieve the goal that you had?
Sure. So I think I must say I already mentioned it, but I think it's the patience of my instructors. Like whosoever I met, I remember the names as well. They are so they almost all of them had this immense patience, like answering not just mine, because I remember one of these sessions I had this big data program. Now one of the learner was actually not able to speed up, and but the instructor, like some people were saying that we should leave them, but they were actually not doing that. Even it took maybe like 5 to 7 minutes to solve that particular problem for that single person. Still they were doing that. So I think that was really great to see. Even if I am able to do that, but I don't know, like every person learn at its own pace. So
Right.
I think that was really good. And I think apart from the live classes, the queries, whatever I had, and that were actually solved. Like they were not taking a big window altogether. They were actually solving all the queries of not just me, multiple learners in a batch at a good pace. Like if I'm working at night and I'm just putting out a question, I'll get that answer in a few minutes or so. So I think that is really commendable.
Got it. Sure. No, thanks, Prasann. So, Prasann, what are where do you go from here? I mean, where you are right now, I think was very interesting to hear about your entrepreneurial journey. But so what are your career plans? What are you trying to do, and what's the future for you?
So I think once I started learning and I was pushing myself, I think in the year, a few years back, I also saw that it's not just me that is going through this learning journey. And I got invested in mentorship because I saw that, also read about it, that even if I have, let's say, just 1% of the learnings out there, still who is just starting at zero, it is 1% more. So with that objective in mind, I started mentorships. It was totally one-to-one free mentorships. I started with that. And I think that has become my core mission. So recently I quit my job, and now I believe my future is totally dedicated to mentoring people, so that the things I tried out, the way I approach the problems, even at work or with my career trajectory, that I should be able to help others. And with this in mind, I also started my first own Tableau mentorship program that is already running. We are already down 3 weeks, and I think I wish to take care of all these values, and I want to go ahead and help more learners out there, like who are starting, who are even facing troubles to start, and then I can be a helping hand. So I think this is the core objective of my entrepreneurial journey, and I'm very excited about it.
No, Prasann, that's great to hear. So you have so the Tableau mentorship program that you've launched, you are calling it Tableau Buddy as the company, and great to hear that your first program is has started off, and wish you really all the best. It feels really good that a Simplilearn alumni is kind of building his own business in this space, and very excited to hear about it. So
Thank you.
it's really good. Prasann, I'm kind of detour. So apart from the world of data and your career, so what do you like? I mean, what are your hobbies? What do you like doing?
So data took me to many places, like where with data as well, like I lead some of the Tableau user groups. So I travel a lot to do events at various places. Also, I because thanks to like being in the data field and with Tableau, I also went to different countries. So traveling is definitely something I like, exploring new places. Also, a bit weird if somebody would find I really like anime. I don't watch anything apart from learning. I just watch anime, or you will find me playing FIFA sometime. So, and I think apart from this, still, like you'll find me saying this as a very geeky person, but I also spend a good time still working on passion projects related to data. If I want to build a good visualization out of data that is present on Kaggle or anywhere, or maybe I'll build my own data set, I'll do that. So that is where my hobbies and interests lie.
Got it. No, Prasann, this is great, and I'm sure the entire audience is enjoying hearing different aspects of your journey, and maybe for each person there's a different part that resonates. I mean, for everyone, I think before really diving into a lot of the questions that the audience has shared with us, just maybe a overview in terms of what is your advice to professionals who are looking at the future in data. What are the top things that you would want to call out? And then post that, maybe we'll get into specifics of what the audience wants to hear more about, and take more of their questions.
I think I'm almost repeating myself here, but I'd say that, see, like search never ends. If I have to be very true and honest, search never ends. If you'll be searching for that very best course, very best instructor, it never ends. So take a course and just sit down and spend some amount of time without questioning even the course or the learning or whatever the structure is, your only focus should be on learning things. It will help you so much because I've seen many people who take the courses and then they have all these questions. Will I get a job? What will be the questions in an interview? I think that can be taken care of, but first you need to have those skills, right? Because in this industry right now, skills are really important. If you don't have skills, nobody is going to touch you or look at you. So that is important. And this whole data science domain, it's a really big domain and it's also expanding at a great speed. So knowing different technologies, let's say you go for a data science or AI course, that is good to take if you have some experience with programming or coding, because there will be intense programming if you're especially going for the AI course. But doing, let's say, a holistic big course like data science and AI course really helps me right now, because while I was leading the data visualization team at American Express, I had to actually collaborate with AI teams, data engineering teams, product management teams. So this whole information was actually helping me to actually collaborate with them. So I think that where it helps me almost, so that I can actually understand what they're talking about. If they're talking about confusion metrics, if I don't know about it, I cannot make any sense. But since I had that information already, it really helped me. But let's say if you're coming from a very different background, let's say arts or commerce, or maybe from a philosophical or psychological background, there can be anything. I've seen people who are dentists, they want to become a data analyst. Like I've seen such messages in my inbox as well. So if you're coming from such a background, pick up those simple skills. They are still in demand. And one of them is my favorite that like my whole career depends on it. That is Tableau. You can invest your time with Tableau, Excel, SQL. I think if you have good exposure and skill with these skills, then you can actually get onto a data analyst role. And I think that is something you should go for if you are coming from a non-engineering or a non-mathematical or non-programming background. So that is all I'll suggest today.
Got it. No, Prasann, I think some really key points over there. I think I definitely want to expand on one of the things that you said, that this entire piece about putting your head down and learning. And a lot of times there are distractions where people focus more on the end outcome more rather than the process, right? And I think, see, at the core of it, one of the things that we have always had at the core for Simplilearn programs is that finally it's for your career growth. So everything is designed for that, but there is a journey that basically, and I think you captured it beautifully, that so for us, our entire program design also works that way, saying that first you have to absorb the skills. Nothing can be done without the skills. Once you get those skills, after that, you basically learn how to apply them, which is where the portfolio comes in, that you are doing 5, 7, 10 projects and you're building a portfolio. All that goes on your CV, and you have that I've done this stuff, so I know it, I can answer questions on it, and all of that, right? So that's the second layer. The third layer becomes more this, that if you have the skills and if you've done the hands-on work, then how do you actually showcase yourself? And which is where you sometimes also need credibility, that, and that's the kind of certification that Simplilearn gives, that you have a Simplilearn certificate, that's your foot in the door. People will get you an interview, you will get the chance to talk about it, talk about what you've done. And if you had the skills and the portfolio, then you will be able to crack a job. So a lot of times there is a lot more focus on basically, and I'm incidentally seeing that in the questions as well, saying that how do I get a job? How do I get a job? Actually, the path is very simple. And that's what you've called out, saying that first get the skills, forget about everything else, put your head down, just learn. Then build your portfolio, which again you touched on, saying that building the portfolio is a very critical part. And then we get you the credentials as part of this program. If you complete the program, you have the credentials that will get you a foot in the door. Last part is always up to the learner, that he has to pull it through. So, I mean, I think nobody can take credit away from anybody, that finally, if Prasann, like you are successful, you were successful. It's not like anybody else can do it for you. So I think thanks for, calling it out for the audience. And that's something that I would also want to reiterate, that it's always that first put your head down and learn, then build your portfolio, and we'll give you the tools to do that. Then eventually you'll be ready to get get the outcomes that you want. And I think that's something that should help people a lot. I think the other thing that you covered, which was my next question, which you already answered, which is that what program should people start from depending on their background? And that again, in brief, that, if you are already a programmer, then you could take a more advanced course. If you are a complete, like a dentist, should start with data analyst and visualization and some of those skill sets, which don't require advanced coding and stuff like AI or data science. I think that also gives a lot of perspective to our learners. I'm sure it answers a lot of the questions that we have as well, which many people have asked. So I think this is very, very helpful, Prasann. I think thanks for sharing this perspective. Why don't we jump into the questions and let's see, apart from the stuff that we've been talking about, what do our audience want to know about? I think we had gone through one from a programming perspective, that if somebody is a programmer, where should the person start? Another question that I see here is that, is data science good to know as a fresher? Prasann, you want to maybe share thoughts on that?
I think yes. Let's say by fresher, if you mean that you don't have any experience, then yes, because even if we don't accept it, everything around us is going about data. So, like, even let's say you don't want to target a role in the field of data, learning about data science will help you at every aspect. Because just think about it, because right now people are always thinking that I do this course, data science course, and I get an analyst or let's say a developer job, or maybe a data scientist. But if you're working, let's say, as an HR, and you have these skills, then you can still analyze those information and even present it to your seniors. So this whole information helps at every profession right now.
Yep. No, absolutely. And I think data has applications across the board, irrespective of which domain you get into. You're always going to find it very useful. Prasann, one other specific question, I think people want to know, which courses have you done at Simplilearn? So maybe you want to call out which are the programs that you've taken.
So I took data science and AI master's course. So both the courses I took, it was really intensive, and especially the AI one, it had so much mathematics. I didn't knew that I had to face again so much mathematics, but those are two courses I did.
Great, thanks for sharing. Some of these questions we've answered. I think which course is best for me to enter data field. I think we've given some perspective there. I'm just running through some of the other questions. So again, Shivam is asking that he's a final year student in Masters of Economics, wants to figure out whether data analyst or data scientist, what's the direction. I think, Shivam, hopefully we've addressed that in terms of how we should think about it. I think this is again a very interesting background, and Prasann wanted to bring this up because it might be relevant to many of the people. That typically the way we think of segmenting is that there is programming skill, then there is mathematics skill, and then there is somebody who comes from a very different background. And for each person, what would make sense, right? And I think at least so what we've seen is that somebody who's coming from a non-math, non-programming kind of a background, then data analyst is the best place to start, because then otherwise, if you get into data scientist or AI, then it suddenly becomes too much outside of comfort zone, and then people struggle. But starting with data analyst, and eventually you could move to data scientist or AI. And then if somebody has programming as a skill, in general, maths is part and parcel of it, because somebody who's learned programming probably has a background in maths as well. So directly going for data science and AI works out. There are a lot of people who have math skill but not programming skill, and there typically we advise them to take a data science program. They could also take a data analyst program, but data science could also work out because they have a strong grounding in maths. Any other thoughts on this? You feel, or you broadly, this resonates with what you've experienced as well?
I think you covered most of it. Like with this specific question, masters in economics. I think if you know if you have a good hold over maths, I think even you can go for the data science course. And altogether, what Kashyap mentioned, it makes sense because whenever you're starting, just also not take too much on your plate. So taking that decision is really crucial. So based on that, you should be taking a course.
I think there's a very interesting question, and I wanted to take that. There's somebody who's asking that my age is 40 and I had an experience that companies want younger staff in data science. Is it really so? I think the way I would answer that is that, see, I think practically for any company, they would look at creating a skill set in any domain which has longer period for growth. That basically, if you can get somebody who's younger and can grow and take on more responsibility with time, I think that there would be some preference to it. But the key thing for somebody who has more experience and wants to get into data science, it is more about how do you play on your experience. Like, for example, if there is somebody who's an HR professional for a long time and that person does an HR analytics program, right? Or somebody is basically a marketeer for a long time and takes up a marketing analytics program, which are all components of the programs that we have, then you can basically play on that basically you are kind of doubling down on the domain where you have expertise, and that's what creates unfair advantage for you, right? So I think my suggestion to people with more experience out there would be that you need to get data skills if you want to move in that direction, but you'll have to create a niche for yourself, that what's your experience plus data, how does it become larger than life, and that can help you get growth opportunities. But if it's just about basic data analyst skills and you are talking about entry level jobs, most likely, yes, you are right that companies would prefer somebody who's probably younger, but that's where you need to use your experience in the right way. I'm seeing other questions kind of repeating now a little bit, because it's normally these so either programmers or non-programmers or people who've got some experience. Let me try and find if there's a different set of questions that we can touch on. And Rasha, here, if you want to help, just let me know if there are questions that you're seeing repeating, and if you want us to take it, I think would be helpful as well. But in the meantime, we'll go through all the questions that are there.
Sure. Kashyap.
Yeah, no, I think it seems like those were the themes, and I think we have covered quite a few of them. And I'll let Rasha pick up if on the chat window if there were questions that we haven't covered, which are worth taking.
I'm sharing one with you.
Sure.
On the chat here.
Okay. So I think Prasann, there's a question from someone who's an MTech in corrosion science and has been working in a chemical plant, etc., but wants to change and shift to data analysis or data science. He doesn't have a background in coding and programming. So how should he go about it?
So I think right now, if you are already working, so first, like, don't be like me and leave your job. That is the first thing I'll suggest. But yes, pick up the data skills, and since you have a good amount of experience, try to apply it at your work itself. Whatever data skills you are getting, let's say how to do analysis, how to use Python, how to solve problems, you need to apply all those skills at your current organization or your current workplace, because I think that's the best ground if you want to have some projects. Because one of the biggest disadvantage can be, like, if you're not working, then you have to do all the different projects. But if you already are working, then I think you have a good advantage that you can use those skills and build a project at your workplace as well. And yes, further going ahead, you can do more projects. And then if you really want to get an analyst role or a data scientist role, I think you can go through that as well.
And here, I think, one opportunity that I want to take is to kind of club these questions in few buckets, right? That basically, I think, anybody who's in the programming domain, ideally getting into data science and AI is relatively easier because you already have maths and programming background. You can take these programs and definitely would be able to go through it and master these skills. Anybody who's in a non-programming background and has, let's say, 5 years experience or lower, then ideally data analyst is a good program to start with. It gets you into the field of data. You have exposure. You can figure out, data analyst opportunities, data visualization opportunities, and so on. At the same time, if there is somebody in a non-tech kind of a field and with more experience, let's say 8-10 years of experience, and wants to get into the field of data, I think the suggestion would be more this, that you should look at data along with your functional expertise. So how do you create that combination that you've got 10 years of functional expertise in some domain, you get data science skill sets in that area, and you, as Prasann also touched on, grow within that domain. That basically over there, your thought process, if you're already 10-15 years of experience in a domain, ideally this data skill set should help you grow more in that path, rather than trying to think that after that you will basically start as a fresh analyst and then go through the entire data analyst journey. I think that would be a challenge for you. So hopefully these 3-4 different angles can help everybody on this call try to think about it, that what's perhaps relevant for them in terms of taking it on. And once you are clear about a specific direction in a program, I think one of the biggest takeaways I would reiterate from Prasann is that keep your head down and first get the skills right. I think that's the starting point, and you need to get that done before you can think of the larger outcomes and what will follow. Sometimes we focus on the goal and we miss the process, and that doesn't help in terms of getting to the right point. So I have a question here, that can we get a certificate for attending this webinar? Unfortunately not. I think you should enroll for a course immediately, right? But Prasann, this has been amazing. I think thank you so much for taking time out and sharing your perspective, sharing your journey. It's been great having you here, and amazing interaction. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure our audience enjoyed it as well. Thanks to the audience. Thanks for everyone to come in over here. I'll be handing over to Rasha now. I think to share a little more of perspective on some of the programs that Simplilearn has, and helping everybody on the call, that if you need help in figuring out what's the right program for you, you can interact with our team. So Rasha, over to you. And yep, thanks once again, Prasann.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kashyap. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Kashyap and Prasann, for sharing Prasann's journey. Yes, I'll take you through the most popular business analytics, data science, and AI courses we have here.
Many of the questions, I think maybe we can take a couple of minutes and see if there's a class of questions that we missed. Maybe any of the attendees, if you feel that your question has still not been answered, could you just go ahead and type it again, and we'll see if any more questions come in, then we'll try to probably take those.
Sure, folks. Please.
We've got a long list here. I mean, we've got about 60-70 comments, and we did go through it and try to answer most of the common questions. But yeah, I think maybe the audience could just write it again if they feel their question is still not answered.
Yeah, we basically are done with our webinar timing duration as well. So I think few more minutes, folks, let us know if you have any questions. You can let us know on chat or in the Q&A box. So we're just looking through the questions here. So I think, Kashyap, we have answered, I think, all of them. Yep. So I think we'll be moving towards the end of the session here. So once again, thank you so much, Kashyap, for taking us through this webinars, Learner Spotlight webinar, and Prasann also. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your journey here with us. Would you like to say something, Kashyap and Prasann, before we end the session?
Yeah, I think Prasann, you want to address everyone. What would you like to leave as last thoughts?
I think since we're talking about learning and upskilling, then it's essential right now. If I talk about the market, it's really essential, and just go ahead and start. Nothing more you should do about it. whatever you have, let's say you want to switch to any domain, or you want to get a job, you want to get into research, you have to start with learning. So that is my last words for the session here.
Thanks, Prasann. And I think I would kind of echo the thought. I just want to leave the audience with a couple of thoughts. One is exactly what Prasann said, that the biggest problem is inertia. A lot of times we keep thinking about this problem and that problem and how to make everything perfect. But the biggest challenge when you think about upskilling or when you think about doing something different in your journey, in your career, is inertia, because there will always be 5 doubts to tell you to not do anything. So break inertia. If you are interested in a space, go pick up a program, go learn a few skills. It will always be helpful. Whether you build a full-fledged career in that area like Prasann has, or you basically use those skills in your walk of life, and it really helps you in terms of doing what you are doing better. I think data especially is a field that even if you don't become a data expert, if you don't become a head of data science somewhere, even then data is something that will transform the way you look at your everyday work, right? So I think it's a great skill to pick up. If you are keen and if you have taken out time to come to this session and try to get your questions answered, I think my suggestion would be more this, that you are motivated enough, you should do something. Pick up a program, learn a few skills. I think it will definitely go a long way. The second part is more this, that from Simplilearn's side, our vision is always to help learners like you to basically get to a stage where they can build a career in the area that they've picked up. That's what keeps us going. So really, thanks a lot for taking time out and coming for this session. I think what you'll find in most of our programs is going through this journey that we spoke about in this webinar, that first get the skills, then apply them, build your portfolio, build a set of projects that you've done so that you're really confident. And the certifications that will get you by the end of your program, if you complete the program, whether it's the Simplilearn certificate or some of our great partners like Caltech, IITs, Purdue, and so on, they will set you up to get a foot in the door. The last mile of getting that job, getting that opportunity is finally going to be up to you. You have to master the skills, you have to do the projects, you have to be able to tell your story, right? So that's how I would want you guys to think about it, and wish all of you all the best. Yep, I think that's probably what I'd like to close on.
Thank you so much, folks. So we'll be ending the session now. Please do reach out to us at askus@simplilearn.in if you have any questions about the programs we have. And also, folks who have already shared their interest towards enrollment to the program which we have shared, learning consultants from Simplilearn will be reaching out to you pretty soon. So thank you so much once again. Thank you. We'll be ending the session now. Have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. So thank you, folks. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.